Hello and welcome to the Tomcast. I'm Tom, president and dictator for life of 515comics.com. I decided to come outside today and do the Tomcast in my backyard because it's pretty nice out. It's still actually kind of cold. I probably should have worn a coat, so I'm going to try and make this pretty quick. Before I get started with today's segment, I just wanted to say that the one-day buffer project was good. We had a good week. So everything's set up for tomorrow's page, and all the pages went out at midnight on the date of their launch. On to today's subject, which I wanted to bring back a segment that I haven't done in a little while, and that segment is pipe dreams. Last night I finished reading John Green's The Fault in Our Stars, and it's a pretty sad book, but it's also a pretty happy book. I don't know, it was good, I really liked it, and it got me kind of thinking about this subject, emotional impact in media. You know, be it in books or in comics or in movies, basically the media hijacking the emotional state of the consumer of that media. The best examples I can think of are usually from movies. Basically, you know, you watch the movie and it changes your emotional state. Either it makes you afraid, or it makes you uneasy, or it makes you really happy, or makes you really sad. I do love a book, a story, a movie that can make me laugh and make me feel really happy or really good. A nice heartwarming story or a love story. I mean, those are really nice, but I feel like personally, at least, I tend to be affected more by the negative emotions. And I think just for me personally, it's probably because I try not to be affected by those things in my real life. And so when I'm experiencing them vicariously through media, they tend to affect me a little bit more and also linger a little bit longer. That's good. I feel like when you are so invested in a story of any kind, in any format, that it is able to get in you and change your mood, your outlook, your emotions. I feel like that's something that all kinds of storytelling should strive for. To connect with their audience, with the consumers of that story, to become so invested that it affects them in the way that is intended, or maybe even not intended, by the storyteller. So that got me thinking a little bit about my story that I'm telling. And I realized it's kind of hard for me to tell if it actually has that sort of impact. I'm a little too close to my own story to know that it's going to affect people a certain way, or that it could affect anyone in any way emotionally. And that's something that, I don't know, I was just kind of thinking about that, like, do authors think about how their stories are going to affect people, and in the editing process or in the proofreading process, are they trying to gauge that kind of emotional feedback? Reading The Fault in Our Stars, you know, I cried at the end. I'm a softie. It doesn't take much to get me to cry, but I cried. I cried at the end of that book. I choked up a couple times throughout. It's a pretty sad story. I wonder if during his editing process, if one of the questions that he asked people who were proofreading and editing his book was, how did it affect you? How did it make you feel? Because it seems like the book is really trying to make you understand where the characters in this book are coming from and what they're actually experiencing, and a lot of it is tragedy. And so I wonder if that's something that he really tried to focus on in the editing process and in the writing process, is making it an actual sad and tragic story. I guess it's sort of up to my readers and my own editors to decide if my stories have that kind of impact, although I'm not really shooting for tragedy in my comic so far. Anyway, it's just something that's been on my mind. I just wanted to kind of chat about it a little bit. Are there any books or movies that have affected you guys in a very strong way? If so, let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear about them, or any recommendations for any stories of any kind that have that really strong emotional connection to you, that really made you feel something that, whether you expected it or not, was sort of a strong and real emotion. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I will see you later. If during the writing of that book, did John have people try to...